I have no idea where Jesse Jr. is. I mean, this is a huge disaster. We're still hungover, obviously, from last night's huge win for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He would be here doing the drum solo right now and all that kind of stuff. But my name is Derek Montilla. Of course, I'm your mayor of PHNX. This man that just came in next to me is Shawn. He is Mr. Electric. And of course, that is Jesse's son, JJ Jesse Jr. We are so glad to have you guys here. Please forgive the condition of my voice. I might try to do some more screaming because I still feel like I have that inside of me. But man, now that we've had a chance to digest this, what a win for the Arizona Diamondbacks. We were just discussing that this series with the Brewers was probably arguably the best series of the wild card round.
And the bar was on the floor. I mean, it depends on who you're fans of, I suppose, but the bar was on the floor because all the other series were ass kickings.
Yeah, I mean, we can take a look once again at the postseason graphic here that shows us where we're at in the bracket. But yeah, just a bunch of sweeps, a bunch of 2-0s across the board. The Tampa Bay Rays really got beat up there.
That was what a depressing end to that season. Yeah. Obviously, that team has gone through a couple of tough things between the Wander Franco situation, losing Shane McClanahan. But I mean, they were one of the best teams in baseball for the majority of the season. And
let's be honest.
I'm still out of breath from sprinting to go.
Yeah, I know. That's fine. They overcame a lot. That Wander Franco situation probably would have been enough for to sink most teams.
You're not just your starting shortstop, but arguably your best player.
Your star. Yeah. And it's not just injury.
Yeah, right.
It's not even just it's an absolute kind of criminal situation, right?
I mean, even that is underselling what it is because if you found out a guy I don't know, like a speeding ticket or even like stuff like DUIs and stuff like that. Like people okay, they'll get over that.
Yeah.
Don't drive while drunk, please. But this is one of those things where you everybody in that clubhouse has got to be I thought I knew the motherfucker.
Well, it's definitely got to be a situation where you feel like you can't share a clubhouse with them.
Well, yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Think about it. A lot of these guys have kids.
Yeah, 100%.
It's no.
That's because that's one of those things where it's you do something like that. There's no redeeming that. You can people make mistakes and drive when they shouldn't. Right? People don't make mistakes and start sleeping with 14-year-old girls. So Wander Franco is fucked, obviously, and I have to imagine that. I can't imagine how that would affect a clubhouse. Yeah. Just the mentality and everything
and
like
the fact that they were able to come together and galvanize after that
and it was just a next man up kind of thing.
I mean, like I said, it's definitely a terrible situation. It's a unique situation, and it's something that, of course, the Rays did have to deal with. But taking a look at that bracket once again, the Rangers take out the Tampa Bay Rays. We got the Twins. Would you say a surprise victory over the Blue Jays in 2 games?
Yeah, I mean, it is in the sense that, I think ultimately the Blue Jays have a better roster than the Twins, but similar to the Brewers, the Blue Jays are kind of just a team now that doesn't accomplish anything. I was talking about this yesterday. You sit there, if you're a Blue Jays fan, you're like, what are we doing here? Because this is now the team that was supposed to be the team that got you back to winning towards winning a World Series, right? But
they were young and exciting a few years ago.
They had
and
Pfaadt Jr. 2 years ago was competing for an MVP. Bo Bichette is one of the best contact hitters in the entire game.
True.
And now you're sitting there being we didn't even put up a fight against the Twins, who were easily the worst division champion in baseball this year of the 6. So yeah, as far as the Blue Jays are concerned, that's tough. The Twins, surprised by. I was definitely worried for them because Duran was getting checked out for a blister, it looked like, at one point, and that would have obviously been a huge loss for them. But I think he finished the game, and that's the kind of team. They have Correa, who's been there before and done it, and then they have just one of the best closers in the game.
And everybody else.
yeah, but they have also one of the best closers in the game. So like that team keeps it close, especially when you got guys like Sonny Gray pitching well, and then it's GG's. Like Duran's going to shut it down. So
another series, of course, like I admitted to yesterday, that looked wildly out of control and one-sided was the Phillies taking on the Marlins. Just in retrospect, you got to stop for a moment and just be really grateful that the Marlins beat the Diamondbacks in a couple of series back when it absolutely felt like it didn't matter
at all.
And for that exact reason, the Diamondbacks had to take on that juggernaut, that buzzsaw that was the Philadelphia Phillies.
Even if the D-backs had the tiebreaker, they probably would have made Miami play that last game. Miami was only ahead of the D-backs because they played one less game and had one less loss.
Well, they were not playing that game.
So there was no tiebreaker invoked, right?
I know, but I mean, it was because it was going to end in a tiebreaker, even in the best case scenario, right? That's why they didn't play on Sunday. So my point being is, if it would have been different if the tiebreaker meant something, but I don't even know if they would have done that, right? Internally, they might have looked at these two teams and been like, you know what? You guys can have the Phillies.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll go ahead and take on the Brewers.
Well, and also beyond that, it's also kind of like why would you, on top of that, why would you force your guys to play a day later than everyone else? Make your team have a day less rest than everyone else in the wild card. Yeah. And probably burn a pitcher for something that might not even end up mattering. And then also, like, best case scenario, you win that game and then you have to play the Phillies. Yeah. Like, that game wasn't played, I don't think. I kind of hate the Marlins, though, so I'm glad the Phillies kicked their ass. I'm just glad they did it to them and not to the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And you know who is absolutely we don't even need to discuss right now, the Chicago Cubs. And that's because they're not in the playoffs. And I'm saying this because Craig Morgan's standing at the door watching us like some sort of creep now.
He was admiring JJ.
Yeah, he was. But getting to the Arizona Diamondbacks victory, obviously we're still, like I said, hungover from last night and all of the excitement from the wild card round with the Arizona Diamondbacks beating the Milwaukee Brewers. Corbin Carroll kind of making it hard for other young guys to shine on this team. You know why? Because it's like every accomplishment now, you're just the second youngest guy. You're just, you did that? Well, Corbin Carroll already did that, and he did it 159 days earlier than you in his life. Alec Thomas at 23 years and 159 days became the second youngest Diamondback to hit a home run in postseason history. Of course, that's what's happening. But I mean, this was just, again, an incredible win for the Diamondbacks. And I think I got to ask, now just kind of looking back on it, what impresses you more? Putting up 4 earned runs against 2 of the best starting pitchers in baseball, which I know that's not a lot, but for Corbin Burnes and Freddie Peralta, that seems like
more than enough too.
Or the bullpen holding it down the way they did with a 0.00 ERA.
Yeah, it's the bullpen. I mean, that was the one thing you could not have reasonably expected. I think talking about this series and wanting to
was that Shane?
Yeah, Shane.
Oh my God, Shane is just
Derek. I was waiting for you to that register.
Was that a ghost?
I mean, I think the biggest reason we preferred the Brewers over the Phillies is like the idea that a pitcher has a bad day or you rock a pitcher. Like that's even the best pitchers. That's way more likely than shutting down an entire lineup like the Phillies, right? Yeah. And so like that them managing to get 4 runs on them like was obviously huge, but
sure, especially the way the offense was playing at the end of the season.
But the bullpen performances was the unexpected thing that put them over the top. I mean, Hazen said it, Torrey said it, like that is why they are moving on to the NLDS, is because of the performance of the bullpen. They were by far the biggest part of the Diamondbacks winning this series, in my opinion.
Speaking of Torrey said it, you want to hear the speech again?
I don't want to hear the speech again.
All right. Are you fucking kidding me? Listen, this is part of the journey. We're not there yet. Let's enjoy it. Let's embrace it. Let's fucking party. And a connected team is a fucking dangerous team. We are fucking dangerous. Let's fucking party. We are fucking dangerous.
This wall's made out of glass. I'm going to easily run through that right now. But my God, let's fucking go. Diamondbacks, by the way, they're now 20-22 all time in postseason play, which sounds like a very Diamondback record to have in postseason play.
It's actually not terrible.
It's not.
It's not terrible considering
really
you
not.
think about like 2011. I mean, but I guess they lost in 5 to Milwaukee in 2011. They got swept by the Dodgers in 17.
That's not great.
So,
Yeah, they're right. But, I mean, still very good. The second time in team history that they've advanced in the wild card round to take on the Los Angeles Dodgers in the National League Division Series. So this is incredible. And again, here's our postseason graphic. Connor in the chat said, brought up a great hot take. He said that he would rather play the Atlanta Braves, should the Diamondback make it to the NLCS, than the Phillies. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
If you look at the bracket, I love the American League Division Series. Like, it's like, wow, you've got the Rangers who haven't been there in a while. You got the Orioles who know, that's such a great team. Then you got the Twins, and then you look over at the NLDS, and you're like, one of these things is not like the other.
Yeah,
that's a great point.
As far as playing the Dodgers or the Braves or the Phillies, like, yeah, I want nothing to do with a Phillies team that A, would have home field advantage still, and B, has just beaten the Braves. Yep. Like, if the Phillies are doing that, then they're the Phillies of last year, and they're rolling. And I don't want anything to do. Like, if the Braves win, okay, they were supposed to win. It was our first series of the playoffs, whatever. But if the Phillies have done this, they've gone from kicking the Marlins' ass to then maybe not kicking the Braves' ass, but beating the best team in baseball in the Atlanta Braves. I want nothing to do with that Phillies team. I would much rather play a Braves team that has everything to lose. Obviously, I don't want to say nothing to gain because they have a chance to go to the World Series. But by Brave standards, like their goal is to win a World Series, not make a World Series. I would much rather play that team. That team is far less dangerous to me than a hot Phillies team.
Yeah. We need to discuss something that you and I wanted to discuss for a while. We need to get this out in the air. We need to finally figure this out. Is it the MLB postseason? Or is it the MLB playoffs? And you already know what the answer is around here because we're big Yoffs guys.
Yeah, it's the fucking Yoffs.
It's the fucking Yoffs.
It's the fucking Yoffs.
But it is something that I think is that unique to baseball? Because I don't really see it called postseason anywhere else. I think postseason to me just means that it's after the season.
Yeah, I think it was a little different when they had the one-off wild card games and 163s because then it was like, okay, there was stuff that was after the postseason that you could consider like not really part of the playoffs. But now everything's a series. And so as soon as you get after 162, like it's postseason playoffs, same diff. It's the fucking Yoffs.
It's the Yoffs. It can't be the Yoffs with the postseason. It's the fucking Yoffs.
Season. That doesn't roll the same way.
It doesn't. But we believed in the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Yoffs. Well, maybe when I say we, I mean more. One of the two of us here believe. But we know who didn't believe in the Arizona Diamondbacks. And that was the Chase Field event coordinator.
Apparently, yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't mean to cast stones at people. I do live in a glass house myself, but the D-backs did send the following in regards to the Pink concert that is due to take place on October 9th. They had to send out a press release that said, due to misinformation, we're confirming the Pink concert will still occur as scheduled on Monday, October 9th. Which that was one big concert, right? And then there was also a few days later, Guns N' Roses going to be playing at Chase Field on October 11th. And as you know, a playoff game will be being played there at that time.
They can do both at once.
Oh my God!
I mean, if you are Guns N' Roses, you better be at that playoff game.
Yeah.
Like, what do you got? You were gonna be here. You're gonna be there. You got a hotel room somewhere nearby. Show up. Throw out a first pitch. I don't know. Get the boys rolling.
It's not a bad way. If you were flying into town and this is what you were going to be here for, it's not a bad way to spend your time.
I'm sure the D-backs can hook you up.
Yeah. Again, the Guns N' Roses concert that was scheduled for October 11th has been postponed. A new date has not been announced yet. Sorry, GNR fans. But I guess the big question here is, who believed in this team making the postseason less? Me, by scheduling my anniversary weekend in Las Vegas on Saturday and Sunday, or the Arizona Diamondbacks event coordinator at Chase Field? I want to say it's a push.
Is your anniversary actually this weekend, or was it a celebration?
Yes. Yeah,
well, I mean, that's your fault. How long have you been married?
I've been married for 14 years
so
now. That's why I'm supposed to go back.
I saw the math going through Derek's head. He's like, I can't fuck this up.
There's a lot of eyes on me right now about this situation.
You should have thought that through 14 years ago.
I really should have. I let her pick the
You're
date.
a baseball guy getting married in October.
That's
I don't know.
Wild.
I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, 14 years ago, I wasn't working as a baseball reporter.
I guess.
So that's one.
That's true.
That's one date.
But
that's
like, I'm telling you right now, I'm not getting married on a Sunday in the fall. I'll tell you that. Like, I'm not getting married.
I mean, that's actually that's probably.
I got married during NFL playoffs.
Here's
we
the
literally
problem,
were watching
Shawn.
playoff football.
Dates change. So sometimes a Monday in 2023 becomes a Sunday in 2024. You just can't win sometimes with this shit. But yeah, it is kind of funny because I do know that was a topic of conversation for a lot of Diamondbacks fans. And when I say that, I don't mean my anniversary. I mean the scheduling at Chase Field, because it's very much just a weird thing, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
feel like that.
You talk about me doing it. You're literally the building they play the fucking games in.
It is. I feel like that was one of the things at the very beginning of the season. They're like, oh, don't let us make the playoffs.
It was a joke.
We're going to have a problem.
There's going to be a
and now it's
scheduling
like,
conflict.
a couple months later, and you're like, oh boy.
There actually is. Yeah.
Sorry, one of the greatest rock bands of all time. We've got baseball to play. The D-backs are rolling.
But we scheduled around Pink. That was on purpose.
Yeah, Pink is fine. She's going to be flying through the air and shit. Like, we cannot push Pink.
She does the silks. She's amazing.
Guns N' Roses,
Yeah. I mean, he's not wrong. They had their time in the sun. Like, let's go. Anyway, we thank you guys for being here during the PHNX Sports in the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to do so right now. Sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss whenever we go live. And of course, drop us a like our pal Gabby Moreno there says. We love our attaboys, and that's what we call them. If you're listening on the podcasting side, on the audio side, make sure to leave us a review. We always appreciate those 5-star reviews, and we always love you subscribing and listening on that side. The most important thing, though, is that you need to get the unofficial shirt of the Diamondbacks playoffs, and that's because this team is a goddamn wagon, so you should have a shirt that expresses that thing. The Diamondbacks are an absolute wagon, and this team is going to continue to roll, so don't miss out on grabbing that shirt over at the phnxlocker.com. If you're a diehard member, you'll get 20% off that shirt, so go get it now. Order it, get it ready here for the Dodgers series. It's going to be here before you know it. You might have to do like overnight shipping or something, but we'll make sure we'll make sure Mitchell's working overtime over there, just like we are with all these shows we're doing. But another great way to celebrate this victory, of course, is with a little wink of THC. And when we say that from our friends at Wink. It's a seltzer drink with a wink of THC. And how high will it get you? Just a wink. That's a WYNK for that wink. It's a perfect balance of THC and CBD, which not only will make you have a fun time, right? But it'll keep you laid back. I love their comparison here. They say that CBD is THC's laid back friend who keeps the party from going off the rails. And
it's the Jesse to your Derek or Shawn.
Oh, yeah, probably. It's the Jesse to your Derek or Shawn. That's
because
a great
then when
metaphor.
you have just Derek and Shawn,
things
shit
goes off the rails.
People get hurt.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
You need the CBD.
We are uncontrollable at times, but it's a balanced, light, and social drink. And of course, it has 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 alcohol. So it's a great alternative, and it's a great way to have a fun time anytime. So make sure you check them out. Available in either 2.5 milligram or 5 milligram cans. You can find Wink right here in Arizona. Look for Wink at all Sunday Good dispensaries in the Valley and Botanica dispensaries in Tucson. They're now in 12 states nationwide and even recently launched online ordering and home delivery to about a dozen other states. To find the fastest way to get your hands on one, go to drinkwink, that's WYNK.com. What are you laughing about over there?
Just, a variety of things to chat. First, Josh Hunt saying, you got to tell you've been married to the game longer. It is what it is. I found that funny. And then Joshua saying, Elizabeth got married during the WBC too? Oh, brutal. Not in love with the game. You got to be.
But if you
married.
had to choose an event,
yeah, true.
Like,
spring training in WBC is obviously better than the postseason. But and then Josh, I was what I was really laughing at. I had to explain to my dad what the team being a wagon meant. He clearly isn't witness.
Yeah, there it is. That says everything about our Twitter account.
If you don't know, you don't know.
That's absolutely true. But I'll tell you the one way to spice the NLDS up more, the one way to make it more interesting is to get down on the BetMGM app. Of course, if you are a new member to BetMGM, you can sign up with our code of PHNX and you'll just get some free bonus bets. And what's better than that?
You can use them on some Diamondbacks World Series futures.
I can't wait to cash my Corbin Carroll.
Oh my God,
bet.
I keep forgetting about it.
I've just been looking at it on the app and being like, yeah, baby, give me that.
Do you know when
give me that
those
win. I don't know, but I believe Baseball America announced that he is their Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
So I mean, it's inevitable. It's coming. So make sure to get down on the BetMGM Sportsbook app. If you haven't downloaded it yet, do so on iOS or Android, or you can visit betmgm.com and sign up with our code of PHNX. All you got to do is sign up for BetMGM and use that bonus code of PHNX. Place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through the BetMGM Sportsbook mobile application of at least $10. Then you will receive $200 instantly in additional winnings regardless of your wager's outcome. You do have to place a wager in the amount of at least $10 on a qualifying bet in order to get that $200. So make sure to not miss out on that. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to Shane, who's right here next to us in the room next to us, talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., New York, or Ontario.
Connor Mormon says Corbin Rookie of the Year at plus 500 in March was so free. It absolutely was.
Absolute
That's exactly what I
charm.
got it in on it at. So yes, let's go, my man.
I was dumping free bets left and right on Corbin Carroll Rookie of the Year.
Oh yeah,
like left and right.
Oh yeah.
It's the best. Futures are the best way to use free bets, in my opinion.
Especially when it comes to something that's a slam dunk like Corbin Carroll winning Rookie of the Year. But of course, we know at one point there was that James Outman that was challenging
and
him.
that Ellie De La Cruz.
And that Ellie De La Cruz.
And that Matt McClain.
We'll be seeing that James Outman, who continues to be a very good player for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
He's all right.
He's all right. But let's take a look at the Dodgers at a glance, because this team actually continues to be a very strong team, but does have a glaring weakness there. Dodgers finished up the season 162. Plus 207 run differential. They are the second best in Major League Baseball when it comes to that, behind the Houston Astros, behind the Atlanta Braves. They are 6-4 in their last 10 games of the regular season. Their starting pitching ERA this season really sank, and that's really where they have some issues this season. They have a 4.57 ERA as a team, which is 20th in Major League Baseball. Everything else there is disgustingly good. Relief pitching ERA 3.42, third in Major League Baseball, a 7.95, a 7.95 team OPS.
Only behind the Braves, right?
Only behind the Braves. A 7.95 team OPS.
Literally, in the history of baseball.
The Braves, every single person in their starting lineup has over an OPS of 800.
Like it's literally one of the best offenses in the history of the sport.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you're a D-backs fan looking at this, the one thing that excites you is the fact that you just were capable of getting to two of the better starting pitchers in baseball, and now you're going to face a team that does not have great starting pitching. Yep. And so I think if you're a Diamondbacks fan, you're looking to see the offense come out hot, start fast, because if not, the bullpen is not where you're necessarily going to score runs on this team, and you can't count on them on making some kind of like big defensive mistakes or anything like that, and they're going to get theirs. So it's going to be huge for the Diamondbacks offense to start fast in these games, because of the first one, slightly less so because it's Clayton Kershaw. Yeah. But after that, like it's got to get to the starters if you want to have a chance in this series.
You absolutely do. And I mean, even defensively, we saw there that their second defensive run saved. I mean, but I will say an encouraging thing is we looked at the at a glance there for the Milwaukee Brewers, and the Milwaukee Brewers had a better starting pitching, about equal relief pitching. I think theirs might even have been second. And we're also a good team defensively. So, I mean, this is one of those situations where, looking at that, I don't think this is as unsurmountable as a lot of people might think it is against the Dodgers.
I mean, like, as far as defense is concerned, obviously, like, really bad defense can lose you games, but like I'm only gonna put so much stock into that, but I'm like, yeah. Outside of that, it's like it's the fucking offs, dude. Anything is possible. You don't know how guys respond, and obviously this is a very veteran offense, and so you can probably bank on Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts and JD to perform in the postseason because they have done it for many years. But you talk about guys like James Outman or their young pitchers, like you don't really know how they're going to respond in these moments. And so
it's true.
Yeah, I definitely
just like our young players. We don't know how they're going to respond.
Exactly. And we talk a lot about, the Diamondbacks and like their youth and all of that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And we weren't sure how they were going to respond, but that same question remains for the Dodgers. And so I'm very interested to see. I definitely think, I mean, you talked about it a lot, right? This is not your last, I was going to say your father's Dodgers, but your father's Dodgers.
This ain't your daddy's Dodgers.
Your daddy's Dodgers sucked though. Like this isn't your older brother who was born a year older than you's Dodgers.
This isn't your Dodgers.
This isn't your Dodgers. Yeah, it's just not your Dodgers.
This isn't the bandwagon team you jumped on and started.
They are a weaker Dodgers team, which they're still one of the best teams in baseball, but they are a much more vulnerable Dodgers team than we've seen over the last few years. So,
you guys say you're afraid of Kershaw.
No. I mean, I'm not afraid. I'm afraid of Kershaw more than
postseason Kershaw.
Yeah,
dude has a 4.22.
Yeah, I know, but it's still Clayton Kershaw. Like out of all of the pitchers, he's still gonna be a Hall of Famer. Like,
sure, he's probably the greatest pitcher of our generation.
Yeah, and so if there was a starting pitcher you were going to fear, it's not going to be one of their rookies or something like that. Like I think it's this guy, especially when you consider who's the pitching for the Diamondbacks and that Mert has not had a good track record against the Dodgers, obviously, but. I think you do. Like Kershaw, has not been the best postseason pitcher. So something's got to give. Hopefully, it's Mert hopefully it's Kershaw, I guess. And Mert can, like we were talking about earlier, kind of exercise demons.
Well, we talked earlier about the controversy that the Tampa Bay Rays have to endure due to Wander Franco and the Dodgers.
Yeah,
one thing to remember is what they're going through with Julio Urias. Dave Roberts confirmed that he isn't coming back, so he will not be available for this team. He said he was saddened by. The response to the Julio Urias investigation, and it sounds like the team is moving on. And the Dodgers have shown that they are capable of rebounding well as well. You know, they had that whole Trevor Bauer situation, which got very interesting this week because Trevor Bauer was finally able to talk about the situation legally, and he put out a video very much detailing the whole thing. And that's still just such a murky. It's such a murky situation. It still feels very he said, she said. But to be honest, if Trevor Bauer, what he was saying was true, it makes a lot of sense why pro athletes and people who are celebrities that make lots and lots of money can't really trust people they meet. But that's a whole other discussion. That's not even something I want to get into. But I mean, but the point being is Trevor Bauer was one of their best pitchers. 100%. They lost him, and they really didn't miss a beat as far as just finding someone else to fill that role and proceed. And same thing with Julio Urias. But he's a very big piece of their starting rotation that is it's hard to get past. And I mean, Elise says good. He is a trash human. Both of these guys, you could probably say that about. But I mean, again, trying to not, dig too deep here. It is really about the Dodgers losing. Over the last couple of years, two of their best starting pitchers. Yeah,
they are one of the they are the Teflon organization. Shit happens to them. They bring in new pieces, and it just never really seems to. Like I brought it up last week. I feel like the Dodgers tweeted out a highlight of a double play between Ahmed Rosario and Colton Wong. Like what? What? That's the Dodgers middle. Like, what is going on? They can put in anybody, guys that are just downright bad baseball players, like those two before they became Dodgers, and they just keep rolling. And so
Lance Lynn coming back down to earth made me believe in Jesus again. You know what I mean?
Right. But that's like the Dodgers are clearly like one of the best, if not the best, run organizations in baseball because of the way they just are never fazed by stuff that hits them.
Colton Wong was hitting 300 with a 353 on base percentage in 20 games with LA. Yeah, after hitting 165 in 68 games.
It is inconceivable. I don't understand it. But again, as I brought up to one of my friends who's a Dodgers fan that texted me last night, they choke in the playoffs every single year.
Yep.
Every single year. Except for
when there wasn't fans.
Except for the Mickey Mouse.
When there wasn't fans.
like again, something's gonna have to give, and so I think obviously this Dodgers team is terrifying in a lot of ways. But if you're a Diamondbacks fan, like anything's possible, dog. This seems like the kind of team that would upset this Dodgers team. I'll say that. Like they always lose to somebody. Why not us?
Why not us? Interesting thing Connor says here, and I think that we would both agree with this 100%. Connor said, if we're able to come home 1-1, I take that 11 times out of 10.
Yeah, you're just trying to flip home field advantage. That's all that's about when you're a road team in a playoff series. Take one on the road, and
they just swept on the road.
Yeah, and even if you can't, like you're coming back home. I mean, so like I was saying this to Jacob earlier. I think like this series to me is not over until it's over. Like even if they go down 0-2, like I'm not going to count them out of this series. I mean, I'll be worried because idea of Brandon Pfaadt in Game 3 is not the most encouraging thing against this Dodgers team, but still, like when you consider who this Dodgers team is and who this Diamondbacks team is, like I think anything's possible. So I
don't know if it's going to be any. I need the fans to show up.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's even going to be a home field advantage.
Well, yeah, that was another thing.
Right?
I was texting with my
D-backs fans to show up.
My Dodgers fan friend, I was like, because she said she was going to the game. I was like, "Where's my ticket?" And she's like, "I can't have you there. You're going to be rooting for the Diamondbacks." I was like, "I have news for you. You're going to be surrounded by Diamondbacks fans." She's like, "Nah, Dodgers fans travel well." I'm like, "All right, we'll see," because Dodgers fans do travel well, but Dodgers fans are used to this.
Circle.
Diamondbacks fans don't get to see this very
goddamn wagons.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Arizona Diamondbacks.
And when we talk about circling the wagons, we mean that from a fan perspective. We need to circle the goddamn wagons.
You got to show up.
We need to get the reinforcements. Call your friends that haven't watched since 2003 or 2004. Tell them it is time.
And you can get good ticket prices on Game Time.
You absolutely can get good tickets on Game Time.
$70 all-in pricing.
Blew my mind.
$70 all-in pricing.
And it's like, and I'm trying to be objective, looking at this from the outside. Like, it's the Los Angeles Dodgers in the playoffs, and you're getting it for $70.
Yep. Yeah, show up. Get down on the Game Time app. Do that now. Of course, it is the place for last-minute ticket deals. So if you're still indecisive about that, do not feel like you can't do it at the last minute. Literally, get on Game Time at the last minute. It's the fastest-growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. It's an aesthetically pleasing app. It's easy to use. And not only that, but it will give you – I love the views of the field. Yes. And I know that's kind of a – I don't know if that's a cheesy thing or not, but I like knowing – where my ticket is going to be. You know, what the view 100%. From where I'm going to be at is. So that's just sometimes, especially if you're unfamiliar with the stadium, that could be a great thing. Chase Field has a lot of great places to watch the game from, and it doesn't necessarily need to be in the lower level. I had season tickets in the front row of section 300, and it was one of the best seats I've ever sat in my life.
I love, I was going to say I love Chase Field. I have a complicated relationship with Chase Field, but in a playoff baseball game, I will sit anywhere. Like I'll sit.
It gets nuts in there.
Yeah,
it does. Like it's loud.
Look at what Nicholas says here in the chat. He said $58 plus $30 parking for row 4 in the upper deck. Infield reserve. Are you kidding me? Never see that for the playoffs. Sheesh. And again, here you can snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. You download that app, you create an account, and use our code at PHNX. You'll get $20 off your first purchase. If you haven't used Game Time, the Game Time app yet, this is the perfect time. So terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Guaranteed. Of course, we celebrated last night, and a big part of that celebration always and forever will be OG's brands. It's just I can't celebrate without OG's. And of course, if you're stuck on what kind of gummies to get, OG's has taken the guesswork out of it for you. All you have to do is check out their new mixed bags. It has the fruits and the creams, variety of flavors in each bag. Wonderful tasting. They're all about flavoring life. They're all about flavoring gummies to actually be good. You know, you've had some edibles before that just were, just terrible.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to lie. I grew up in a world where recreational marijuana was not legal.
No way.
And so I also grew up in a world where you had your friend Jim making edibles in his apartment on campus.
Using sticks and stems and seeds. It's
absurd.
Was
an absolute crapshoot. Yeah. You had no idea what that experience was going to be like.
Or if Jim even knows how to make a good brownie.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, maybe the brownie just sucks.
Yeah.
Don't got to worry about that with our friends over at OG's. They taste like candy. Like I always say, I would eat a whole bag if they weren't medicated.
They do have non-medicated samples that we need to get in here.
I'll eat the whole bag.
Eat the whole bag.
But then also, you know what to like. It's going to give you a good high every time.
It's going to give you a great
consistent high every time.
They got their Sunny Sativa or their Mellow Indica blend, allowing you to, of course, customize your OG's experience based on the mood or time of day. And you can check them out at OG's Brands for yourself and try one or a few of their many delicious flavors. Check them out all across socials at OG's Brands and online at ogsbrands.com to find them at a local dispensary near you. Must be 21 to enjoy responsibly.
BK, and I hate that I live in VA now because I can't go to the D-backs games in Chase Field. I miss it. Well, you won't be able to go to Chase Field, but you can go when we're playing the Orioles in the World Series.
Planes do exist.
Well, yeah, but also just go to Baltimore when you when
that's
the Orioles
okay.
Are...
But me saying
last
night, I still don't understand
the
these rules.
No, okay, let's break this down.
It's wild. I'm
the,
constantly getting shamed and corrected for the way I say things.
So to me, the rules are like. Because we're always dramatic, right? We're always saying it's over or they're going to, like, whatever. So you can
constantly resisting the urge to say we're back 20 minutes after we said it's over, right? That meme is us.
You can say, oh, they're going to go to the World Series. You could say that. But you can't say in game 2 of the of the wild card that they're going to the DS. That is unacceptable because then things could go very wrong in that instant. Like, I'm being dramatic. The idea of them going to the, like, you see what I'm saying?
I said it was inevitable, and I was right because here we are. Inevitability is struck, and they are facing the Dodgers. And
you're not wrong about that. All I'm saying is there is a line. There's a difference.
I need to still learn these rules, but
anyway, Damon and I will continue.
The Twitter constantly is telling me I'm cursing the team, so I don't know.
We had to teach Jesse all this. Too.
Yeah, we really
Jesse was saying some unacceptable things.
Wait, let's address this. Jesse didn't know the difference between beer and champagne last night.
Oh, I don't. Yeah,
and I want to stick up for him because I want to say that there's a good chance that Jesse has not had at least one of those two beverages at all in his life ever. And
also, you're in a clubhouse. Liquids are spraying. I don't like. It's all beer and champagne. It's all bubbly.
Yeah, it's all gonna sting your eyes. When it gets in your eyes.
You're gonna need a shower afterwards, regardless.
And I do love the fact that Merrill Kelly is the one that got Jesse soaked with beer last night. That really delights me. But of course, we're having fun around here. And if you want to join us, become part of the family, make sure to check out Die Hard membership. You'll get yourself that wagon shirt for free. If you are a brand new Die Hard member, you get a free piece of merchandise from PHNX Locker and a free piece of merchandise every year.
Shout out Zach Lynn.
Shout out to Zach Lynn, looking absolutely
rocking the shirt,
absolutely
supporting the boys
in his shirt. Because he's on the wagon.
He is on the wagon. And as I say, get on or get run over.
That's right. But you
Milwaukee.
can get that wagon shirt either if you are diehard or you get 20% off if you've already gotten that deal. If you're a new member, you can get it for free. You also get members only access to our Discord. You get discounts with our partners. You get a $50 gift certificate for Mountain Mike's Pizza and so much more. So make sure that you do not miss out on becoming part of our family and joining the wagon. Get down on the wagon.
Something tells me Something tells me you're going to be seeing more D-back shirts relatively soon.
You don't say.
Between some potential award winners, playoff runs. If they keep going, like, Eric's going to have to make us a shirt.
He has no choice. He has to make us more shirts. The shirts we have are awesome, by the way. So make sure to check out phnxlocker.com to see all of the shirts. I found out that people very much like the It's Always Sunny.
Max is rocking his today.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know we just restocked some of our Rising shirts.
Yeah.
Rising are headed to the playoffs as well. Right. USL playoffs.
Yeah. Rising and the Yoffs.
So
there you go. People are digging that jersey, by the way.
Yeah. I appreciate everyone's complimenting me on it.
Here's something, of course, that we need on a shirt. Pfaadt, can we play the Tory video again?
All right. Are you fucking kidding me? Listen, this is part of the journey. We're not there yet. Let's enjoy it. Let's embrace it. Let's fucking party! And a connected team is a fucking dangerous team. We are fucking dangerous. Let's fucking party!
Pfaadt pointed out how that champagne sounded absolutely like a rattle, a snake slither, hiss, whatever you want to call it. Also, which of those phrases from Tory do we need to put on a shirt? All of them? I feel like
we are
everything.
Fucking dangerous, and if you're
like
scared,
a whole
stay
shirt
home.
Where it's the whole.
Yeah, that's
thing.
Gallen. If you're scared, stay home.
If you're scared, stay home goes insane.
A connected team is a fucking dangerous team.
If the Diamondbacks beat the Dodgers, a "We Are Fucking Dangerous" shirt would go insane. And I understand, like, if you make it right now and then they get swept by the Dodgers, tough scenes. But if they beat the Dodgers, put it on a fucking shirt.
Put it on a fucking shirt. Well, we still don't know who the Arizona Diamondbacks are going to completely have to deal with in the playoffs, but we can take a look at the probable pitching matchups and see here at least who the Diamondbacks are going to be sending over to LA to take on Clayton Kershaw there in game 1. It will be Merrill Kelly, Zach Gallen in game 2, and then Brandon Pfaadt in game 3. Obviously, the reverse of what we saw there in Milwaukee. And then, as Jacob noted there below, Kelly and Gallen will go, according to Teo Mackey from AZ Central, in games 4 and 5. So this is interesting. This is our playoff pitchers. This is it. These are our 3 guys. There's nobody else. Everybody else is in the bullpen, and it's just these guys to kind of get us through. I feel differently now with the way the bullpen is pitching, because I don't feel like these wins completely rely on Merrill Kelly, Zach Gallen, and Brandon Pfaadt. I feel like these guys can go out there and do the job, and even they have the confidence. They have, I guess, the alleviation of pressure that they aren't the only pitcher that is going to be responsible for this win, that they are, that it solely falls on their shoulders.
And I think that's something we talked about early on in the year when the bullpen wasn't quite as good as they are now. Some of the pressure that put on some of the starters. But yeah, I think I had mentioned being slightly concerned about the idea of Brandon Pfaadt pitching in a winner-go-home game 3, but also he pitched in game 1 of the playoffs, obviously, did not pitch well, and the Diamondbacks won that game because of the bullpen and because Torrey having a short hook, which I obviously have to imagine would be the same circumstance in game 3 if especially if it were an elimination game.
Don't you feel like it's the situation in any game now at this point?
Yeah.
I mean, even with Gallen and Kelly?
But I mean, to a slightly lesser extent, because I mean, you saw with Kelly or with Gallen yesterday, he obviously had a very bad first inning. Not that you were ever going to pull him in the first inning.
Sure, but if Brandon Pfaadt had a similar first inning, would he have even made it to the second potentially?
Yeah, I just think there's definitely going to be a longer leash for Zach, because they have a proven track record of, even if they have a bad inning, they right the ship. Not necessarily the case with Brandon Pfaadt. So they'll have a slightly longer leash. But yeah, I mean, now, especially if they're in a position to steal a game in LA, like I don't think Torrey is going to be hesitant to pull Zach or Merrill for one of his trusted bullpen guys.
Well, again, we don't really know who the Diamondbacks are going to, or who the Dodgers are going to have as pitching probables, but they were doing like an inter squad game yesterday to try to stay obviously active. You know what I mean? And the layoff is definitely something that we as Diamondbacks fans hope factors in, because the D-backs are hot right now, right?
Yeah, 100%. The offense is rolling. And yeah, the Dodgers, just a lot of sitting around thinking about how they always fail in the playoffs. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely like I just have a hard time imagining what it's like to be playing a 162 game season and then all of a sudden have a week off basically, and then be like, all right, now you're playing the most important games of your life again. Like I that's got to be tough to deal with. So
I can't imagine I imagine it's honestly kind of nice for your body. Like,
I'm sure it's nice for your body.
You just played 162 games in like a 6-month span.
And especially if you're a team that's dealing with injuries, 100% good for your body. But for your mental, like just being locked in and still engaged in the game, like that's got to be tough. I don't know. I mean, there's professional athletes and some of the best professional athletes, so I'm sure. Like ultimately, it's not going to play that big of a deal. It'd be interesting, again, getting to the point I was saying earlier about having to get to the starters early. Like, if they're not locked in off rip in game 1, like that's your chance to steal a game, get to Kershaw, rock him, and then get into the bullpen. And obviously, I mean, we kind of saw it in the Brewers, but with it being a shorter series, it didn't matter as much. Like, you get to the starter early in game 1, then you get to the bullpen early in game 1, and that sets that team up for failure throughout the rest of the series. Yeah. And so they can manage that, it'd be awesome. So if they are dealing with a little bit of the rest versus rust thing, and the rest has kind of hurt the Dodgers at least early on, maybe hopefully the Diamondbacks can take advantage of that.
Well, it's interesting because Anthony Castrovins from MLB.com, before the postseason started, ranked the starting pitching rotations or at least the pitching staffs, and I'm sure he's including the relief pitching in there, but he ranked the Dodgers as the 9th best staff in the playoffs of the 12 teams. He ranked the D-backs last.
Yeah, I don't know how you could really argue.
It looks like they're going to have Bobby Miller and Lance Lynn going in games 2 and 3 potentially. Yeah. And we talked about the Diamondback. We talk about starting lineups not scaring you. Does a pitching rotation of Clayton Kershaw, Bobby Miller, and Lance Lynn scare you? I think for me, I don't know what to expect out of either of the two veterans there in Kershaw and Lance Lynn. And I know Bobby Miller is very good, so I'm not going to discredit him in any way. But this is definitely not the starting rotation of your nightmares.
No, not at all. Yeah, I mean, they're ranked 9th there for a reason. It is obviously Clayton Kershaw is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest pitchers of all time. But as Jacob pointed out earlier, not the best playoff track record.
4-2. He pitched in one game last year against the Padres, 5 innings, 3 runs.
Yeah, which if you can get that off Kershaw,
if you can get that off Kershaw, you can win that game
100%. So, no, it doesn't definitely necessarily like strike the fear into my heart by any means. PC Yoshi made a great point. Like, you look at that rotation, that shouldn't scare you any more than Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, and Brandon Pfaadt.
Yeah,
at all. I would argue that the Diamondbacks that 3 is scarier. I think Gallen and I don't know.
I just had a revelation.
What?
We get Righty Cattell game 1.
We also get Kershaw's father.
Walker.
Precisely.
Cattell, the last time this team was in the playoffs, Cattell hit a home run off of Clayton Kershaw in 2017.
That is true. Andrew,
with Jeff Mathis.
Andrew in the comments said, I think Cattell should lead off. He knows the Dodgers better than anyone on the roster, in my opinion.
Only reason I disagree with that is because I don't like they've had the same lineup for 2 straight games, and I like it. I don't play with it. It's worked well. I like Cattell. I like Corbin leading off and then Cattell being right behind him. But I mean, that's picky, I guess.
Known Dodgers fan Brian Perez says Miller and Kershaw are elite. Stop hating. Lynn is up in the air. Dodgers bullpen are top 2 in the league. Hold on.
Okay,
they're top 3. Calm down.
Yeah.
All right.
Hold on. Lynn is not up in the air. He's just downright not good. Great pitcher. Kershaw is.
They got Mike's secret stuff over there.
Kershaw's elite, but again, it's a playoff track record, and Miller's just young, and so I'm not denying the talent that the Dodgers have, but as a Diamondbacks podcast, you're looking at this rotation and their vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
If you're looking at Kershaw, his vulnerabilities, he's old. This team knows him, and he doesn't have a good playoff track record. If you're looking at Miller, his vulnerability is that he's young. Yep. If you're looking at Lance Lynn, his vulnerability is that he kind of just sucks. And so
he sucked a lot.
It is by no it's the Dodgers still. But if you're lying, if you're a Dodgers fan, and you're looking at the rotation and you're looking at the other rotations in this playoffs, and you're like, yeah, this is the best one, or it's even in the top half because it's not even close. They are in the bottom tier of playoff pitching staffs, and that's an objective fact.
Do you know who Anthony Castrovince did rank as the top pitching staff in all of the playoffs?
Is it a team that's still in the playoffs?
No, it is not.
Guessing it's the Brewers?
It absolutely is the Brewers.
It also probably factored in Brandon Woodruff, but
also true. But I mean,
shut up, Faj.
But regardless, yeah.
No, I don't like him stomping all over my gloating and my excitement there. So now I'm in a bad mood and I need to be in a good mood. Faj, play the video again. I want to see the video one more time.
All right. Are you fucking kidding me? Listen, this is part of the journey. We're not there yet. Let's enjoy it. Let's embrace it. Let's fucking party. And a connected team is a fucking dangerous team. We are fucking dangerous. Let's fucking party.
Oh, man.
We're fucking dangerous.
I can't see that video enough. Raucous Rex, to be fair, asked what are the D-backs vulnerabilities? Well, quite a bit, honestly.
Yeah, there's a long list of those.
Yeah, the offense seems to disappear at times
the
completely
bullpen, the
as
offense,
a whole.
Well, I mean, the problem with the Diamondbacks is that literally anything can be their vulnerability. Like, all facets of this team have downright sucked at points in this season. The offense obviously went completely ghost in July after the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly are both supposed to be our best pitchers, and they've also, I mean, Merrill Kelly specifically, historically downright awful against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Has never won. Has never beaten them, right?
And they've also been worked a lot. Like, this is
also
the most work Zach Gallen's ever got in his career. And Merrill Kelly, I mean, we know that some of his outings were cut short by cramping, and we know that he had the blood clot issue. So, but if it wouldn't have been for those couple of things, he probably would have beat his innings pitched from last season, which his goal was to get to 200 last season.
Yeah,
so,
and I mean, Brian's being a Dodgers troll and saying the offense is non-existent and that should be an easy series with Dodgers. But if we're being honest, to say it's non-existent isn't fair because it's been existent for times, and they've also just won 2 games where they scored multiple runs
against 2 of the best
exactly. So that's not true. But
games.
if you're looking at the lineup, the problem certainly is that you have guys that just disappear. Like, it is not a dangerous lineup 1 through 9 in the way that a Dodgers lineup is, right? Like, we saw
if one guy's struggling, it almost feels like everybody's struggling.
Yeah, right. Like, we saw Pham go 0 for 5 in game 1. We saw Lourdes go. Did he go 0 for in game 1? I don't remember. But he didn't perform well in game 1. Christian Walker has gone ghost, especially later in the season. Like, there is certainly holes that it's kind of like fucking whack-a-mole. Like, you just don't really know. Different things are going to pop up at all times.
Jerry in the 9-hole should terrify people.
Jerry in the 9-hole is such an electric
because it's
factor.
like you have another leadoff hitter before Corbin and Cattell.
Yeah, it's an electric factor.
And
that's kind of how they won 2 games.
I think that's Torrey's entire game
100%.
Plan there,
and
right?
that's why Perdomo is so valuable to this team. He's the kind of guy that knows his role.
Offense got kick-started in game 1 with Perdomo, and then again in game 2, I think in the 6th inning when they had that big 6th inning that really busted things.
I think it started with a Perdomo walk, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
And then Corbin Carroll. Which is how things go for this.
And then I mean, it's the offense in theory might be like easy, but if you let them get in the base pass, we know what kind of chaos they can create too.
Known baseball executive Elise says we have a lot of vulnerabilities, but we have spirit. That's it. We're scrappy.
The Dodgers have had easy series every single year, and they have 1 ring to show for it. And again, it was with no fans in a shortened season. Mickey Mouse ring.
They lost to the Padres last year. They were supposed to be quote unquote an easy series.
Where are the Padres now?
Raucus Rex asked about the D-backs bullpen. It's been very good lately. But, I mean, again, it's only because the Diamondbacks have added some members to it. Some of the guys like Andrew Saalfrank and Ryan Thompson have just been incredible.
Yeah, and also, like we talked about a lot, the Brewers do not have the most terrifying lineup either.
No, it's true.
Which is not like, I mean, it's still
a big difference.
It's still the postseason, and so the fact that the bullpen didn't give up a single earned run in those 2 games is going to be impressive regardless. But
we're talking about a 795 team
significantly improved offense that this bullpen is going to be going up against. And I mean, you saw the bullpen. It's not like the bullpen, they didn't give up any runs. They weren't perfect by any means. It required terrific performances from Kevin Ginkel in game 1 and Saalfrank in game 2 to pick up bad performances from other bullpens or other bullpen pitchers. So it's just such a crapshoot. Like it's certainly going to be a bigger challenge than the Brewers. I am not going into the series being like, this is D-backs got this. Like it's going to be hard. Dodgers are probably going to win this series, but it's certainly possible that the Diamondbacks do as well.
Well, we here at PHNX love betting on sports, and we love also participating in all sorts of contests and sports-related activities. And we have a weekly PickX and NFL Survivor contest for everyone to participate in over at Splash Sports. You head to splashsports.com/PHNX and sign up. Deposit cash to get started, and it takes just $5 to enter either. The PHNX Weekly NFL PickX contest and the PHNX Survivor contest, the more who enter, the larger the prizes. We'll be running weekly contests all year, so be sure to keep that link handy. And if you want to run your own contests, you can do so as well. If you're tired of being the commish and having to chase people down for money, which is absolutely at times the worst part about fantasy sports or any kind of pool like this, they'll take care of it for you, and you can earn money for the contest you're already running with friends and family. So head to splashsports.com/PHNX to join in. We'll have different contests coming out, so we are stoked to compete with and against all of you. Be sure to click our link in the description. And of course, I've said this before. I've said that if you are a visitor to the Valley, that you might be watching this from somewhere else. You might be flying in, and this counts for Los Angeles as well.
Yeah.
You need a pair of good sunglasses. This is like me going back east to Philadelphia or any of the places where it's going to be cold here very soon, or might even be cold already, and them telling me to have a good coat. I wouldn't know what that means because my closet just has a bunch of lightweight hoodies in it. That's all I have. I do not have a single thick coat.
The best part of going to Syracuse University was all the people from like California that came out, and they're like you're gonna need a coat, and they're like, okay, here's my like light North Face. You're like, oh brother, you're gonna learn.
You're gonna learn.
And you come out here, they're like, oh, here's my shitty little gas station sunglasses.
Yep. Same thing.
You're gonna learn.
You're gonna break them. You're gonna lose them, and even if they're cheaper, you're still not gonna be in the same position as having yourself some premium polarized shades from our friends at Shady Rays. So make sure to check them out. They are an independent sunglass company with a world-class product that's just as good as the expensive sunglasses out there. They're durable. They have clear optics, and of course, they're also backed by the craziest lost and broken replacement plan ever. Basically, Shady Rays told us if you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they will send you out a brand new pair, no questions asked, and no judgment heaped upon you. They're not going to ask you to fill out a form. They're just going to take care of it for you. And you can shop their entire collection at their location here in town at Kierland Commons. And whether or not you shop in person or online, if you do not like your Shady Rays, if you do not love your Shady Rays and you want to return them for your money back or for exchange them for a new pair, you can do that for free within 30 days at Shady Rays. There's no questions asked when you shop. Yeah, you're going to love them. You're going to love them. The only difference is you might misjudge your own face shape and then need some other different pair, right?
Different color or something like that.
Like but I'll tell you what, no matter what, Shady Rays will have your back long after you purchase. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use code PHNX for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. Well, that's all I got. We finally get a day off. I'm excited for that. Well, I do. This guy does. This guy gets no days off. This is Mr. No Days Off next to me.
Production team grinds 24/7.
Yeah, ha, days off. I mean, yeah, I'll be at home doing something on Premiere, I'm sure. But anyway, we appreciate you guys being here. We look forward to being back here on Saturday. We will have a pregame show and a postgame show for that game. So keep it locked right here to PHNX. In the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Cap_Caveman with a K. Shawn is at Shawn_DePaz. Faj is at Jacob _Franklin 4. Jesse is at Jesse N. Friedman. He'll be back soon. We're still Damon's dogs. You can follow Damon at Damon Dog. That's DAWG. Of course, our show's at PHNX _D-backs. JJ doesn't have a Twitter account yet, but all roads do lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. What a week.
What a week indeed.
What a week
we ain't
for this
done
Diamondbacks
yet.
season. We ain't done yet. We ain't done. We ain't leaving. We ain't fucking going nowhere. So make sure to keep it locked right here. We appreciate your time today. We thank you so much. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you don't schedule concerts at your home stadium or vacations with your family in October.
It's the fucking Yoffs!
We all silly like the mayor.